जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी, राधा माधव कुंज विहारी। जय गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी, जय गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन ब्रजजन रंजन, यशोदानंदन ब्रजजन रंजन। यमुना तीरावनचारी, तीरावनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी, माधव कुंज विहारी। जय गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी, जय गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन ब्रजजन रंजन, ब्रजजन रंजन। यमुना तीरावनचारी, तीरावनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी, जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी, जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य स्तोत्र श्रीवांगे श्री भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। श्री रामाचार्य हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद, श्री अद्वैता गदाधार शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा गोपीनाथ भगवान की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदी। All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories, all glories, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 9, entitled Answers by Citing the Lord's Version. Text number 32. Yavanam yatha bhavo yadrupa guna karmakaha tatheva tattva vijnanam अस्तु ते मद अनुग्रहात्। यावानहं यथा भावो यद्रूपगुणकर्मकः तथैव तत्त्वविज्ञानम् अस्तु ते मद अनुग्रहात्। यावानहं यथा भावो यद्रूपगुणकर्मकः तथैव तत्त्वविज्ञानम् अस्तु ते मद अनुग्रहात्
यावनहं यथा भावो यदनुपगुणकर्मका
तथैव तत्त्वविज्ञानम् अस्तु ते मदनुग्रहात् यावनहं यथा भावो न कर्मकः तथैव तत्त्वविज्ञानम् अस्तु ते मदनुग्रहात् यावन्नहं यथा भावो यद्रूपगुणकर्मकः तथैव तत्त्वविज्ञानम् अस्तु ते मद अनुग्रहात्. माताजी, यावन् अहं यथा भावो यद्रूपगुणकर्मका तथैव तत्त्वविज्ञानम् अस्तु ते मद अनुग्रहात्. यावन्नहं यथा भावो यद्रूपगुणकर्मकः तथैव तत्त्वविज्ञानम् अस्तु ते मद अनुग्रहात्. Word to word translation. Yavan, as I am in eternal form. Aham, myself. Yatha, as much as. Bhava, transcendental existence. Yat, those. Rupa, various forms and colors. Guna, qualities. Karmakaha, activities. Tatha, so and so. Iva, certainly. Tattva Vijnanam, factual realization. Astu, let it be. Te, unto you. Mat, my. Anugrahat, by causeless mercy. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. All of me, namely my actual eternal form and my transcendental existence, color, qualities and activities, let all be awakened within you by factual realization out of my causeless mercy. So yesterday we covered the half of the purport. I'll be covering the remaining half. So it starts where Prabhupada writes, the Lord discloses the transcendental nature of His existence. The mundane wranglers make mundane conception of the form of the Lord. It is said in the revealed scriptures that the Lord has no mundane form. Therefore, persons with a poor fund of knowledge conclude that He must be formless. They cannot distinguish between the mundane form and the spiritual form. According to them, without a mundane form, one must be formless. This conclusion is also mundane because formlessness is the opposite conception of form. Negation of the mundane conception does not establish a transcendental fact. In the Brahma Samhita, it is said that the Lord has a transcendental form and that He can utilize any one of His senses for any purpose. For example, He can eat with His eyes and He can see with His leg. In the mundane conception of form, one cannot eat with one's eyes or see with legs. That is the difference between the mundane body and the spiritual body of Satchidananda. A spiritual body is not formless. It is a different type of body of which we cannot conceive with our present mundane senses. Formless, therefore, means devoid of mundane form or possessing a spiritual body of which the non-devotee can have no conception by the speculative method. The Lord discloses to the devotee his unlimited varieties of transcendental bodies, all identical with one another with different kinds of bodily features. Some of the transcendental bodies of the Lord are blackish, and some of them are whitish, some of them are reddish, and some of them are yellowish. Some of them are four-handed, and some of them are two-handed. Some of them are like the fish, and some of them are like the lion. All these different transcendental bodies of the Lord, without any differential category, are disclosed to the devotee of the Lord by the mercy of the Lord. And thus, the impersonalist false argument claiming the formlessness of the supreme truth do not appeal to a devotee of the Lord, even though such a devotee may not be very advanced in devotional service. The Lord has unlimited numbers of transcendental qualities, and one of them is affection for his unalloyed devotee. In the history of the mundane world, we can appreciate his transcendental qualities. The Lord incarnates himself for the protection of his devotees and for the annihilation of the faithless. His activities are in relationship with his devotees. Srimad Bhagavatam is full of such activities of the Lord in relationship with his devotees. And the non-devotees have no knowledge of such pastimes. The Lord lifted the Govardhan hill when he was only 7 years old and protected his pure devotees at Vrindavan from the wrath of Indra, who was overflooding the place with rain. Now, this lifting of Govardhan hill by a 7-year-old boy may be unbelievable for the faithless, but for the devotees it is absolutely believable. The devotee believes in the almighty potency of the Lord, while the faithless say that the Lord is almighty but do not believe it. Such men with a poor fund of knowledge do not know that the Lord is the Lord eternally, and that one cannot become the Lord by meditation for millions of years or by mental speculation for billions of years. The impersonal interpretation of the mundane wranglers is completely refuted in this verse, because it is clearly stated here that the Supreme Lord has his qualities, forms, pastimes, and everything that a person has. All these descriptions of the transcendental nature of the personality of Godhead are factual realization by the devotee of the Lord, and by the causeless mercy of the Lord, they are revealed to his pure devotee and to no one else. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaiham Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Savdetam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamsha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Shri Radha Kanta Namostute. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So first of all, thank you very much to the temple management for giving me this opportunity to share whatever I have learned from my senior God brothers, God sisters. And by hearing them, whatever I'll speak is just the repetition of whatever I have heard. And as we see, the theme is causeless mercy. And I was just reflecting that in my own little well world, that what could be the better example than myself in my world that could be the recipient of this causeless mercy. The fact that I'm able to come Friday for seva, I'm able to enter this divine abode of Shri Radha Gopinath ji temple is nothing but a causeless mercy. Otherwise, why that can happen? And the most amazing causeless mercy that I can see is I have practically no qualification. And I'm not saying out of humility, I'm saying out of reality. I'm sitting here and have an audacity to share my thoughts with my senior god brothers sitting here. It's definitely a causeless mercy. And probably one of the cause I can see is in that causeless mercy, as Madan Gopal Prabhu was explaining yesterday, that there is no cause. He's just very kind. The Lord is very kind and the devotees are very kind. That giving me an opportunity to study Srimad Bhagavatam, otherwise I don't think so I'll be able to ever pick up Bhagavatam on my own and read, and what to speak of read and delve into it and hear others who have shared wonderful thoughts on this particular verse. So very grateful to the temple management for giving me this opportunity. As we were going through the different verses in the past, generally I try and do that a little bit of recap for my own purification. And this time it happened to be Sunday's class given by His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, and was amazing class as always. I was very much touched by how Maharaj spoke about that particular word. Specifically, I may repeat that line. Maharaj, I think, repeated almost 4 to 5 times of that verse number 29. The last line of the purport, Maharaj repeated multiple times in the class, and it goes like this. Lord Brahma wanted to be saved from the pitfall of pride, although he was posted in the most exalted position within the universe. And Maharaj kept on emphasizing that Lord Brahma wanted to be saved. So I was just reflecting on that particular thing that Maharaj said, and I was just wondering and feeling little bit of gratitude that Maharaj has saved me as well. Otherwise, there is no hope in this material world. There is no hope in this material world. Without the grace of a devotee, I don't think so it's possible to live in this crazy world. So again, it's a causeless mercy again, right? And Maharaj draw a parallel between the Arjuna Shiksha that Krishna tells Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita, and none other than Krishna, Lord Chaitanya, gives Shiksha to Sanatan Goswami. An amazing parallel he draw that Arjuna was completely confused, and here Sanatan Goswami putting a grass between his teeth and falling at the feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and inquiring, who am I? And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Jivere Swarup hoy, Nityere Krishna Das. So right there and then, everything is revealed who you are. And Maharaj concluded his class with an amazing insight that he gave about Brahmaji sitting on a flower, lotus flower. He said, can you imagine? There is nothing. It's all over just ocean, and Brahmaji is sitting on a flower. He really made us think, he visualized for us that what it would be just sitting on a flower and everywhere else nothing, just sky and the water. And you're completely bewildered that what you're meant for, who are you and what's your function. Brahmaji went up and down the stem of the lotus but couldn't figure out. And that's where he heard the word tapa, right? And then he did this 1,000 celestial years of tapasya, Maharaj said, and Maharaj said, that's what it will take for us to see the Lord, right? And then again he gave a hope that, don't worry, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very merciful. Just go on chanting without offending anybody, follow 4 regulative principles, and you will see the Lord. So Maharaj gave that hope to all of us. So we are very, very fortunate and grateful to His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj for being here and sharing his wonderful thoughts with all of us and saving all of us for sure. And then Yuga Avatar Prabhu shared the beautiful stories, and he was the fortunate one to be giving a class on the most auspicious day. For me, honestly, I'm just sharing my personal thoughts here. Is more than Janmashtami, this particular festival of Brahmotsav, the appearance day of Shri Shri Radha Gopinath ji, is very, very special. Very, very special. So he shared a lot of amazing stories about Tukaram ji, Ekanath ji, Mirabai, Dhanna from Rajasthan, Mewad areas. It was beautiful stories. And if you see all these stories, what he shared was absolutely not imitable. You can't imitate these stories. But we see that how a devotee, by his own personal example, hangs the system of a non-devotee, or we call it as a materialistic, right? So that is really an amazing. Ekanath ji was coming out of taking bath and somebody is spitting on him 40 times. And this person's mouth dry up, so he couldn't spit further. And he was feeling so bad, saying that he was feeling guilty. And he was actually expecting Ekanath ji to scold him. And on the contrary, Ekanath ji was thanking him that, because of you, I could take so many times bath in this holy river. So that's where the materialistic system hangs, because these are exceptions. Our computer hangs because it cannot handle the load, or they cannot handle the operations that has to be carried out. So the human system hangs when he sees a devotee doing such thing, because they cannot comprehend that such thing can exist. So thank you, Yuga Avatar Prabhu, for sharing those beautiful stories. And Madan Gopal Prabhu very beautifully explained about how to receive the causeless mercy of the Lord. Again, a very, very beautiful concept that he shared, that it is absolutely causeless. And he shared the wonderful story of a beer bar. I really was blown away by that story. That the owner of the beer bar's father is on the deathbed, giving him the final instruction on the deathbed, and a person who is full of all the vices accepting that instruction from his father, that read Bhagavad Gita once in your lifetime and see the causeless mercy of the Lord, that in his home, the Bhagavad Gita was none other than Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita. And when he read it, it's amazing that the Lord within their heart. Otherwise, believe me, we try to give Bhagavad Gita classes and we try to distribute books. I don't know how many of you have come across the people who come and say that, Prabhuji, मैं खरीद तो लूंगा भगवद गीता, पर इसको पढ़ना कैसे है? I don't understand. In fact, I have a copy at home. I try to read it, but I don't understand. कुछ समझ में नहीं आ रहा है. So if you read Bhagavad Gita and if you are able to make sense out of it, it's actually a causeless mercy of the Lord. Without mercy, you cannot understand the word, even a single word of Bhagavad Gita. So this drunkard is able to make sense out of Bhagavad Gita. Can you imagine the magnitude of the causeless mercy of the Lord? And then, to everybody's surprise, this person in the beer bar itself, giving a Bhagavad Gita class to his fellow customers who are coming and drinking. And in that intoxicant state, materially intoxicant state, they are able to understand Bhagavad Gita. Can you imagine the causeless mercy of the Lord? हम लोग पूरा स्वस्थ होने के बाद भी समझ में नहीं आता है भगवद गीता लोगों को. And here a person is intoxicated. उसको खुद का भान नहीं है. I don't know how many of you have seen a drunkard person. वो गटर में भी सो जाता है, उसको समझ में नहीं आता कि वो गटर में पड़ा है. उसको लग गया इतना बड़ा, उसको खून बह रहा है, फिर भी उसको समझ में नहीं आ रहा. He is not realizing that the blood is oozing out of his body. And this kind of intoxicant state is able to understand Bhagavad Gita. My God, this cannot happen without the causeless mercy of the Lord. It's amazing. And he concluded his class with a beautiful story of Ramayana and give a different perspective of how a servant should be fulfilling the things which is lacking in whatever master or anywhere else in the world. So that was a beautiful concept that he shared. So it was really amazing. And we are here in the verse number 32, where we see that now Brahmaji is requesting Lord to reveal the knowledge to him. Right? And right after this verse, the Chaturshloki Bhagavatam will begin. But let's delve into today's verse. And while I was going through the purport, it was really amazing that some of the things that I came across, and Srila Prabhupada writes some of the things very, what do you say, is a very revolutionary. I was talking to, right after the seva, I was talking to my dear friend Rambhadra Prabhu. And he just asked that, what verse is today? I said, it's all about causeless mercy. And he shared something. He said, Prabhu, the first time ever after coming into ISKCON, I heard a word, causeless. Without that, before that, I was just wondering, how can there be something, everything has to have a cause. After coming to ISKCON, people hear about causeless mercy. Can you imagine the glory to Srila Prabhupada? It's really, really amazing. So thanks to Srila Prabhupada for really enlightening us. And here we see Srila Prabhupada, most of the purport, wherever he got an opportunity. And in fact, Chaitanya Charan Prabhu quotes, even wherever there was no opportunity, Prabhupada made sure that impersonalism was defeated. Because the pranam mantra also we sing is Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Dishatarine. Right? So whole purpose Srila Prabhupada wanted to do is to remove this impersonalism, remove this voidism, remove this mayavad, and remove this materialism and give the pure devotional service to anybody and everybody. And that's where Srila Prabhupada time and again refutes mayavad. So some of the sentences I would like to read from this purport, where Srila Prabhupada says that a materialistic person is not able to differentiate between a mundane form and a spiritual form. And that is why they feel that the Lord does not have a form. And I was just wondering, that is absolutely correct. A person having no knowledge of spirituality, how that person will ever be able to understand what is spiritual form? How is that possible? Even a simple example we take of this material world. Anybody here other than a jeweler can make out an artificial diamond and a real diamond? Not possible, because you don't have the knowledge of it. You don't have the knowledge of it. So even in the material world, you will not be able to distinguish between the real and the artificial diamond. Then how will you be able to understand the spiritual form? Unless and until you have surrendered to somebody who has that knowledge. Right? So that was really an interesting that Srila Prabhupada explains. And Srila Prabhupada quotes also from Brahma Samhita that Lord's form is such a form that it can eat with his eyes. Once that famous incident that happened, right, where everybody felt that Ganeshji started drinking milk and everybody was trying to getting a spoon and putting near the the mouth of Ganeshji, and somebody was experiencing that Ganeshji is drinking milk, and some of the inmates resident of Shri Radha Gopinath temple, we have a Ganeshji right at the entrance, and somebody got the table, stood up on the table and trying to give the milk to Ganesha, thinking that this will he wanted to see the miracle, and Maharaj happened to come by, and Maharaj says, "What are you doing?" And he said, "This is what is happening everywhere in the world. Ganesh is drinking milk." And Maharaj made an amazing statement. He said, "We are offering bhoga to the Lord, Shri Radha Gopinath ji, every day. And he eats that bhoga every day. Don't we have that faith?" It was amazing and a very profound statement. We are all trying to see the externals, but a true spiritualist, but a pure devotee has that faith. Not just a faith, they are actually experiencing that whatever is being offered to the Lord with love and devotion, Lord accepts that. And there are so many stories where Lord accepted through his eyes, and Raghunandan Thakur insisted, no, my Lord, you have to eat. You have to eat. And Lord ate. Right? So that is an amazing causeless mercy of the Lord. There is another line in the purport where Srila Prabhupada talks about that there are various forms of the Lord. There are different colors. They are blackish, yellowish, reddish. Some forms are with 2 hands, some forms are with 4 hands. And some forms are in fish, some form are in lion. And we had a beautiful Narsimha Chaturdashi, and when Sridhama Prabhu gave a beautiful class on the evening of Narsimha Chaturdashi, and he asked everybody that why do you think that Lord Narsimha appeared? He appeared to kill Hiranyakashipu, and everybody felt that was the main reason, right? Because Hiranyakashipu was really troubling Prahlad, and that's the reason Lord Narsimha appeared, right? But he said no. Lord could kill Hiranyakashipu right sitting within his heart. Being a Paramatma, he can just tweak something in his heart and Hiranyakashipu can be dead anytime. Main reason he came because Hiranyakashipu asked Prahlad that is your Lord in this pillar? And Prahlad said yes. Because he had that faith that Lord is also in that pillar. Lord is everywhere. Why not in this pillar? So he said, yes, my Lord is there. And just to make Prahlad's word come true, Narsimhadev appeared from that. As we see, right, there are something called a primary function and something called a byproduct of that, right? So the primary function of the Lord to appear in this world is not to annihilate the demons. The primary function of the Lord to appear in this world to reciprocate with his devotees. He's eager to reciprocate with his devotees. And we are so fortunate. We are so fortunate. I myself was so fortunate that I was discussing with Shyamanand Prabhu, and he showed me a particular verse in Madhya Leela where Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami writes that out of causeless mercy, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in this age, and he has never appeared before. It actually writes that he has never appeared before. This particular avatar of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was never appeared before, and he appeared in this age just 500 years ago. Can you imagine the causeless mercy of the Lord and our good fortune to witness and discuss Chaitanya Charitamrita is amazing. It's amazing, right? And further, Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport that and he used the word wrangler. It was quite interesting, right? The wrangler means the one who continuously argues. That's what it means, wrangler means. He says that these people, these wranglers, they do not understand that the Lord has a form. And when they try to deride that the Lord is formless, that cannot be tolerated by a devotee. Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport. And Prabhupada writes for everybody's surprise. He said, in fact, if that devotee is not even in advance, that devotee also cannot tolerate somebody saying that the Lord is formless. Can you imagine here the beautiful altar where Shri Radha Gopinath ji is appearing for all of us. Just imagine there is nothing and you are sitting here and looking at nothing. There are people meditate on nothing. I surprised. What is that? How is that possible? Meditating on nothing, looking at nothing. It's just unbelievable. I heard from Shyamanand Prabhu, very beautiful point he made in Bhaktivedanta Hospital. He gave a class. And he made a beautiful point. He said regarding this, there was a teacher in the class, and of course, one student wrote on the blackboard saying that God is nowhere. And then teacher said, can somebody improvise this statement? One student got up, and sure enough, he must be a devotee, right? He got up, and what did he do? There was a space between no and where. He moved that space after W and moved the W next to the O. So it becomes God is now here. Right? So please understand, this is what is all about. It's a perspective. And a devotee cannot tolerate anybody talking that the Lord doesn't have a form. His heart pains. If somebody comes and says, you don't have a father, like, you feel ridiculous. You say, get out from here. So devotee cannot tolerate anybody saying the Lord doesn't have a form. And Srila Prabhupada further goes and explains a very beautiful line. He says that God has many qualities, but out of which one quality where Lord is affectionate to his devotees. And I was just thinking about it. What an amazing quality, isn't it? The Lord is affectionate to his devotees. We receive affection from our senior God brothers, God sisters, and specifically when we receive that affection from our respective Gurudev, right? You feel completely like, in bliss. You feel like, you're liberated. Why do you feel that? That affection is nothing but the affection of the Lord that pure devotees carries in their heart and gets transferred to you when you are become a recipient of that mercy. That is the affection of the Lord. So what a beautiful quality of the Lord, this affection. Just meditate on this word rather than meditating on nothing. Just meditate on this word. The Lord is affectionate to his devotees. Wow. It can just bring tears to your eyes. Lord is so affectionate. That's why we call Lord is Bhakta Vatsala. Right? And here, further Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport that Lord's activities are in relation to his devotees. And that is why we see the Lord's names are also very much like that. Partha Sarthi, Nanda Nandana, Yashoda Nandana. We sang that bhajan, right? Jai Radha Madhava. What is that? It's just nothing but the Gopijana Vallabha in relation to the devotees, his activities. Girivaradhari. Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, right? Then when Lord lifted a Govardhan hill, when Indra was giving a torrential rain, right? So for a non-devotee, for a materialistic, how a 7-year-old boy can lift a Govardhan hill? Even if I have to lift this with my finger, it's not possible. So that's why everything what we do, we actually bring down on the material level. That is what our problem is. Our problem is we bring Lord also on our level. There are so many devotees, so-called devotees, I would say, from all over India, right? They can quote verses. I was, after one of the program, I was going in rickshaw at about, program ended really late and it was about 11 o'clock in the night after talking to the devotees. And I got a rickshaw from Daisar to go to Mira Road. And this, I could figure out after getting into the rickshaw that this person is drunk, by the way. I said, okay, nothing doing. He started. So anyways, he saw me in this dress. So Pandit ji, kaise ho? And he started, Atma hi Paramatma hai, Paramatma hi Atma hai. You are me, I am you. Kya hai ye sab? And then I will not go much into the details. But what really, hurted me and what I got really disappointed with, that how, and after that, he was quoting all these verses from Bhagavad Gita and then he was quoting Kabir and all this thing, all kinds of stuff, really amazing in one sense. Anybody hears, then person feels, oh, he's quite knowledgeable. And then in the end, what he said was so disgusting. He says that everybody is doing Ram Ram, but nobody is doing Dashrath. Nobody is calling out Dashrath. And he's saying if there was no Dashrath, then how Ram could have appeared? Why you have to bring your material conception to the Lord? Lord is completely aloof. And that's why Krishna calls out in Bhagavad Gita, those are all asuric in one sense, right? Who consider me as one of them. So here, Lord Krishna is lifting Govardhan hill, 7 years old. And Srila Prabhupada writes that for a materialistic, it's like, how is that possible? And they get into all kinds of nonsense thing, right? But for a devotee, it is such an amazing pastime, right? Devotee goes into the bliss. Whenever we have this Kartik Yatra, and we happen to be in Vrindavan, we are eager to hear this Govardhan Leela from Maharaj. We are all mesmerized the way Maharaj explains this wonderful Leela. How Lord Krishna was lifting a Govardhan and so much loving exchange is happening. And just imagine, we go out to see movie for what? To see something unimaginable. Right? That's why we go out for such entertainment. But see here in Srimad Bhagavatam is the height of entertainment from that angle. But at the same time, it gives you so much of satisfaction in the heart as well. Can anybody depict a scene where a small boy is holding a Govardhan hill, which is like, today 28 kilometers in circumference. So at that time could be multifold. It's hundreds of kilometers in periphery and hundreds of kilometers in height. And a small boy is lifting it with his left hand, and there is a whole torrential rain. The pralay rain is coming, right? And everybody is standing under that wonderful Govardhan hill and looking at Krishna and glorifying Krishna. And Krishna is smiling, and Krishna is even wanting to play a flute while that is happening. Can you imagine such a scene? It'll be so ecstatic, right? But because we have this material conception, because we don't have devotion, at least I don't have devotion in my heart, so I may not be able to appreciate this wonderful pastime. I may be at the most thinking Govardhan Puja means there'll be a lot of nice prasadam. And maybe Lord is so kind that even He allows that and helps us to progress just by eating prasadam as well. Right? That's the causeless mercy of the Lord. That's the causeless mercy of the Lord. And Srila Prabhupada goes on saying, ultimately Prabhupada says, don't waste your time. Don't waste your time just simply arguing. Just accept and develop some devotion for the Lord, and you will be in bliss. You will be in bliss. Right? So as we were discussing that Srila Prabhupada's whole purpose, his Guru Maharaj was very much pleased when he wrote that poem on him, saying that my spiritual master has come to remove this, the impersonalism. Right? So that is what Srila Prabhupada is all about. And we see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas for what? To liberate, to give mercy to all these non-believers and give the mercy to all these Mayavadis. He delivered the height of Mayavadis, the Prakasha and the Saraswati at Banaras. Even today it is said that all his followers even today chant and dance in the holy names of Sri Krishna. It's amazing. And then while I was further thinking about this causeless mercy, right? So I was wondering what could be the pastime that we can talk about, right? Which depicts the epitome of causeless mercy. And by the causeless mercy, I got a little realization that I think what could be a better Leela or a pastime than the Mahaprakash Leela, which is nothing but a Lord revealing Himself to the devotees, as being explained here, that Lord is saying, I'm giving you a factual realization of who am I to Brahmaji, right? So similarly, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in that Mahaprakash Leela gave that revelation to anybody and everybody for their worshipable Lord. It was such an amazing Leela. It's an amazing combination of Lord revealing Himself and the devotees getting the causeless mercy of the Lord. Was there a cause for Mahaprakash Leela? There was no cause. One day Mahaprabhu said, Srivas, get everybody. And that's how the Mahaprakash Leela starts. Was there a cause? There was no cause. It's a complete causeless mercy, this Mahaprakash Leela. So we cannot go into the entire Leela. It's amazing. And to prepare this, I heard the class, and this is what I like about it. And that's why I'm so grateful to the temple management for giving me this opportunity, believe me, because on my own, I cannot read. I am not a self-motivated person. I need a force. I am that, like, last bencher that exam comes and I open the book. So when the class schedule comes that, now I have to give class, I open the Bhagavatam, like, a week or 10 days ago, and, like, try to scratch my brain and whatever little brain I have, and try to see what I can read and what I can give a message to all my wonderful God brothers and God sisters and everyone else. So I came across this, and I heard that class of Maharaj on Maha Prakash Leela, and my God, I cannot, what to speak of imitate, I cannot even do any justice to that. But I'm sure, because this Leela is so pure, just by simply narrating, like a child going on narrating or reading the book for the pleasure of the father and all the relatives, I may just do that. So I'm just going to pick only few characters of that, and that's really amazing. So one of the character is Srivas Thakur, right? And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, "Do you remember, Srivas, that you were taken out from the Devanand Pandit's Bhagavad Katha? Because while hearing, you became so emotional, and others felt that you are a disturbance, and they took you out, and you felt so bad. And after that, since after that, whenever you have read Bhagavatam, you were feeling such emotions and the tears coming from your eyes out of ecstasy. Why do you think that is happening to you? Because I am giving you that feeling, O Srivas. That is why you are able to feel that ecstasy." He called out Gauridas Pandit. He says, "Gauridas Pandit, Gauridas Pandit, do you remember that you were with your family trying to run away from the dacoits, and you had nowhere to go, and finally you came to the bank of Ganga, and you wanted to cross that river desperately in the dead of the night to save your family from your dacoits?" Sorry, not it Gauri, it's Gangadas Pandit. So at that time, suddenly you saw a boatman, and you pleaded to that boatman that do anything and everything but take me and my family across the river. Who do you think that boatman was? That was me, came to rescue you, O Gangadas Pandit. And, like, tears were flowing from the Gangadas Pandit's eyes. Like, he was just feeling so fortunate to receive such a mercy from the Lord, right? And then, actually, if you get to see, just type in Mahaprakash Leela Radhana Swami in the Google, and there is a transcription will also come. And I was surprised that one particular pastime or one particular character, Maharaj goes on describing elaborately, and that is Kolavesha Shridhar. Was really amazing. I was so amazed to see that. And Maharaj made us such a, oh my God, when you must hear that. Mahaprakash Leela, and specifically when you hear Maharaj describing about Kolavesha Shridhar, was amazing. He said that Nimai, who was a little child, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was his child, his name was Nimai. When he was going to Kolavesha Shridhar, he was spending minimum 2 hours bargaining the price of banana and banana leaves with Kolavesha Shridhar. So Maharaj makes a very beautiful point. Do you think it was just about the bananas that they were spending 2 hours? Why they were spending 2 hours? They were spending 2 hours because they cannot leave each other's association. I was like, it's like a aha moment. Wow. We feel that, Lord is just going there and having some argument and bargaining. No, it's just because the Lord could not leave the association of Kolavesha Shridhar. That's the reason Lord was just finding different ways and means to spend time with Kolavesha Shridhar. It was amazing. And sometimes Lord Chaitanya used to tease Kolavesha Shridhar. See, you are so poor. You have nothing. Look at your neighbors. They are so wealthy. Look at your dhoti that has more holes than the cloth itself. Look at your heart. It's so, there's so much of leakage in your heart. Why don't you worship Durga rather than worshipping Krishna? What Krishna has given you? And Kolavesha Shridhar says, he actually smiles at Nimai. And he says, Nimai, throughout the years, I have come to one conclusion. What I have observed is a king in a palace lives a luxurious life, wears a very beautiful garments, eats a very royal food, right? And we see the bird wearing the same old feathers, lives in what? A very humble nest made up of straw and eats whatever it finds on the tree. But I see no difference. Maharaj says, I see, Kolavecha is telling Nimai, I see no difference between two of them. Because the time is passing the same way. Both king and the bird, sometimes struggling and sometimes enjoying. That's it. Nothing else. And now comes the icing on the cake. During the Mahaprakash Leela, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, go and call for Kolavecha Shridhar. And to everybody's surprise, who is Kolavecha Shridhar? None of the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's devotee knew who is Kolavecha Shridhar. Can you imagine the position of a Kolavecha? Such an insignificant position from the external perspective. Lord said, go into this particular area and you will hear the sound of Hare Krishna Mahamantra and you will know that he is Kolavecha Shridhar. Just bring him here. So everybody goes there, brings Kolavecha Shridhar. And Lord Chaitanya reveals the most amazing form to Kolavecha Shridhar. The Krishna Balaram form that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu reveals to Kolavecha Shridhar. And then Lord Chaitanya says, O Kolavecha Shridhar, please ask for a benediction, ask for a boon. You know what Kolavecha said? I don't need any boon, my Lord. And when I was hearing that, my God, what a devotee, And then Lord Chaitanya, out of his causeless mercy, saying, you are so poor. I can give you a kingly opulence. I can give you kingdom. I can give you planets. Kolavecha said, I have no desire. I don't need all these things. So then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went ahead. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, I'll give you mystic siddhis, 8 mystic siddhis, by which you can have a supernatural power. You can live millions of years. You know what Kolavecha Shridhar said? It will be just a disturbance. Now the Lord was becoming agitated. And Kolavecha Shridhar is telling Lord now that my Lord, be peaceful. Can you imagine a Kolavecha Shridhar, a devotee is telling a Lord. It's an amazing, if you meditate on this pastime, believe me, you get such an amazing realization. I was just wondering that, can you imagine the Lord is so eager to give something to the devotee. And the devotee is completely satisfied that, my Lord, I don't need anything. I don't need anything. And then finally, Lord must be wondering that, moksha to lagega na isko. He'll be happy to have the liberation from the cycle of birth, old age, disease and death, cycle of birth and death. I can give you moksha. Oh, Shridhar. Shridhar says, I'm not interested. I'm not interested. And then finally the Lord has to call out. Lord says, Shridhar, to please me, please ask something. Please ask something. And that is where Shridhar said, if you want me to ask my Lord, I'll ask only one thing. That let me be the servant of the servant of the servant of the servant. And that Nimai, who used to come every day to bargain for that banana, let that pastime be ever core in my heart. And let me remember that pastime forever. Whatever the birth I may take, whoever I may be, but let me just remember you, my Lord. That Nimai coming to me and bargaining for banana. Amazing. Simply amazing. And after that, there are so many other devotees said, my parents are not devotees, please make them a devotee. Lord Chaitanya granted. My wife is not devotee, my husband is not devotee, everything was granted. My children are not devotee, granted. Even Guru said that, please give bhakti to my disciples. Amazing, all granted. And then Maharaj came to the pastime. We have only 5 minutes left. I'll conclude with this particular pastime. It was amazing. Maharaj said, please, this is a very deep meaning to this particular pastime, where Lord was giving benedictions and giving mercy to each and every one. But he was not looking into one direction where Mukunda Dutt was standing. And Mukunda Dutt was feeling miserable, being neglected. Feeling miserable. And looking at Mukunda Dutt's misery, everyone else was miserable. even though they got the best of the benediction that they needed. And looking at the misery or the miserable condition of Mukunda Dutt, everyone was thinking, let my boon go away, but let Mukunda get the mercy of the Lord. And Maharaj says, that is Vaishnav, Paradukha Dukhi. And I was, my God, do I have a right to call myself a devotee? अगर हमको कुछ मिल गया तो हो गया, मुझे महाराज का मर्सी मिल गया. I got the mercy of Krishna today, I got the special thing. And if someone would have not got, oh, okay, yeah, maybe better luck next time. But here, everyone was feeling. And unse raha nahi gaya. They couldn't stop themselves but to go and ask Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that, my Lord, why you are not giving mercy to Mukunda Dutt? He's such a dear devotee, everybody. You also love him. Why you are not giving mercy to him? And Lord became very grave. And he said that he comes with a grass in his teeth and also holds an iron club on his hand. When you associate with a materialist, he doesn't talk about Krishna. When you associate with the impersonalist, he talks about Brahman. When you associate with devotees, he talks about Krishna. So it is like he coming to me, falling at my feet, and at the same time hitting me on my head with the iron mace. I cannot, don't talk about him again. Lord became very grave and very serious. And all the devotees. And when Lord was speaking this, Mukunda Dutt heard all this. And can you imagine the plight of Mukunda Dutt? And Vrindavan Das Thakur explains, because he had one person in his life, in his childhood, that person taught him some impersonalism. And because of that, Lord Chaitanya was speaking like this. And then Mukunda Dutt was thinking, what is the use of my life? I'm just going to end my life. But before that, he just uttered that, will I ever see the Lord? Will I ever see the Lord? And Srivas Thakur goes and asks Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that, my dear Lord, Mukunda is inquiring, will he ever see you again? And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, tell him that he will see me after 10 million births for sure. There is no doubt about it. And Mukunda Dutt heard this. And when Mukunda Dutt heard this, he said, I will. He just went on, and Maharaj explains, and Maharaj was narrating. It was so beautiful. It actually churns your heart when Maharaj is saying. I'm sure when I'm saying nothing happens, but Mukunda said, I will. I will see the Lord after 10 million births. What an amazing thing. My Lord is so merciful. And he started dancing. He was in ecstasy. And looking at this, Lord Chaitanya said that because you have a faith in my words, oh Mukunda, I want to see you right now. But Mukunda is not listening anything. He was so much in ecstasy that I will. He was just going and saying, I will see the Lord after 10 million births. He was so much enlivened. He was not hearing anything. And the Lord has to tell devotees, go and bring Mukunda here. And they go and bring Mukunda. Mukunda is not even listening to the devotees. He just says, I will see. And then they have to lift Mukunda, literally, and bring him to the Lord. And with the tears in his eyes, Mukunda said, thank you, my Lord. He said, what did I do? I don't deserve this. My Lord, I don't have devotion. We are running out of the time, so I'll just end with this. And Mukunda said that, my Lord, anybody, when they come in front of you and they feel happy, that means they have a devotion in their heart. Listen to this statement very carefully that Maharaj said. It was amazing. When you come in front of the Lord and if you feel happy, be assured that you have a devotion in your heart. And he said, my Lord, I know for sure that I have no devotion in my heart. But what is that? I'm in front of you and I'm feeling bliss. I'm feeling happy. That is your causeless mercy, my Lord. Without that, this is not possible. So thank you so much. It's really an amazing that causeless mercy is indeed an amazing phenomena. And only thing we can just feel that we are so fortunate. We are so fortunate. And Gauranga Prabhu gave in the introduction of Maharaj on the Sunday, saying, how many of your parents actually knew about Rupa Goswami? Right? So can you imagine what is given to us? The Chaitanya Leela is really amazing. It's non-comparable. Not even the costliest diamond of this world or any of this world it is amulya. Is amazing. So let us be all very, very grateful. And Maharaj always says that the grateful heart is the one where the seed of devotion can grow. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. We are running out of time, so if anybody has any questions or any corrections, then please let me know. Thank you.